Whip out your then?
I don't have a because I haven't transitioned yet, and even if I did, I wouldn't show it to a stranger.
There we go then, you effing F. Get out.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I am your average Redditor, and today we're going to be looking at r/EntitledParents. Whip out your then? Alright, so my mate is a trans man, FTM, and while he hasn't transitioned yet, he prefers to use male toilets and stuff. I wasn't there, so this isn't word for word, but from what he told me, I'm effing disgusted. Cast: F is my trans FTM friend, ED is an entitled transphobic dad, and IS is his innocent young, who was young. So the story. F is taking a piss. ED and IS walk in. IS goes inside the cubicle and ED waits around. F walks out and goes to wash his hands.
Excuse me, miss.
Hey, sorry, it's sir?
No, you're not. You're a miss. What are you doing in a male toilet? You're not a man.
I'm a trans man and I feel more comfortable using male toilets.
But you're still a lady and you're not allowed to be in here. Get out.
Actually, I am allowed to be in here. Transgender people are allowed to use the toilets they feel more comfortable with, and I feel more comfortable here. IS exits the toilet.
F off out of here before you upset my son.
This is in a raised voice.
Daddy, I'm done. Can we go? 1 second, bud. I need to deal with this pervert. Listen, we all know you're here to spy on us real men and our and that's weird. F off before I call the police.
I'm a man and I have no interest in spying on male. I'm attracted to females, not males. ED is now shouting.
You are not a man, you pervert. F off before I call the police.
IS is getting upset because his dad is shouting. Daddy, can we go, please?
1 minute, kiddo.
Please stop shouting at me. I am a man, and whether you shout or not, I'll remain a man.
Whip out your then?
I don't have a because I haven't transitioned yet, and even if I did, I wouldn't show it to a stranger.
There we go then, you effing F. Get out.
I will gladly leave when you stop shouting at me. IS is now crying. Daddy, stop screaming. Can we go?
Look what you did, you effing gay. You made my son cry. I'm calling the police.
F at this point is almost in tears. Move, I'm leaving.
Apologise first. No. Apologise now.
At this point, F told me that he just wanted to leave. Okay, I'm sorry.
Damn effing right. Are you a guy?
F is crying now and just wanted to leave, so he does whatever ED says. No, I'm sorry, I'm not. Please let me go.
That's effing right. Now F off.
There you go. A transphobic, homophobic ED reducing my friend and his own son to tears. I'd love to say that F called the police for ED being an absolute idiot, but he didn't, and F has anxiety, so he just said whatever ED wanted him to say, just so he could leave. I don't even understand how people like this can even exist, but what was a little bit weird is that for someone who is using gay slurs, demanding to see someone else's isn't exactly a normal straight thing.
You're gay and you're here to spy on men's
Now, show me your It doesn't exactly make sense. Father throws skin colour as argument for son's behaviour. This was last year when I was walking with my surveillance group on an event. We mostly walked around and checked for safety issues, underage drinkers and stuff like that. On the event, there were also 2 bouncy castles that we had to keep an eye on. One was for kids younger than 5 and the other was a sort of alligator for kids from 5 to 12, I believe. If we were watching the bouncy castle, we had to watch for kids climbing on the walls or blocking the passage inside, which happened a lot. Over the course of 1 hour, I'd send off 3 kids because I warned them more than enough. One parent came to ask for a reason, but to my surprise, she was really nice and she understood my safety concerns with her child's behaviour. Bring in parent 2, we'll call him father, a guy 1 head bigger than me and at least 1 shoulder broader than me. He came and asked me why his kid wasn't allowed on the bouncy castle anymore. I told him that his kid climbed on the walls and was actually pushing other kids aside with his rushing through the bouncy castle. I explained to him that his kid's behaviour could hurt his kid or other kids and that we warned his kid multiple times. At that point, the father randomly throws the racist argument in a hope that I leave it there and let his kid play again. I told him that the looks of his kid had nothing to do with it and that his kid was told to go off the bouncy castle because of his behaviour. The father refused to deal with the facts and kept telling me I was a racist. At this point, 2 of my colleagues were standing 10 metres from me as a backup, and one of them decided to take over the argument from me because father had some sort of tunnel vision of me being racist. He calmed down a bit after my colleague took over, but was still a bit mad. The owner of the bouncy castle decided to close down early that day because of the argument father had thrown, only 30 minutes or so. This story ended well, but in the line of surveillance and traffic controlling, my colleagues and I have lots of experiences, ranging from people trying to hit us to people trying to run us over with their cars. I mean, I want to hear about these stories as well. EM embarrasses kid about hearing protection. Backstory: this happened a few months back. I am an apprentice plastics technologist, and my company offers kids to come and visit us to try out the job and the environment, especially if their CV was really good, like mine. We decide based on the kid's behaviour and interests if we take them in or not. Actual story. The kid visited us and I was responsible for safety briefing and showing him around and other things until we knew who he'd been working with, usually a younger apprentice or co-worker. I explained everything to him, including hearing protection, safety goggles and where they should be, heat sources and so on. I offered him general hearing protection as it's his responsibility to decide. The kids are usually 15 or 16, so we leave it to them as it's not mandatory. I made sure that every time he was with me, he was following the safety regulations to a T, even foregoing my own safety for him. He never got injured other than minor burns and scratches, as that is to be expected in this line of work. About a week or so after his test period ended, the EM shows up and demands talking to me and my boss, yelling about us not enforcing safety regulations. We sit her down in a meeting room and get her, my boss and myself a coffee, on my boss's pay, and begin to explain to her the safety regulations and procedures I went through with her son, including the rules about hearing protection as per law. She continues to demand at least a written apology, even after we called her son and had him explain everything to her as well, especially from me. I tell her that I won't write an apology letter and my boss told me he agreed as neither of us did anything wrong. She threatened to sue if we didn't send her an apology, gave us a business card and had me escort her out. We never wrote any apologies and never heard anything from her about it again. Her son would have been accepted. Oh no. These are the saddest type of entitled parent stories, when the entitled parent ruins the kid's future. It just makes no sense to me. I mean, poor guy, his mum is probably ruining absolutely everything for him in life. Sucks for that kid. Entitled lady tells my supervisor to F off. This is a relatively short story, so I'll try to make it interesting. For backstory, this occurred during a closing shift at my place of work in fast food, and was during a brief spurt in customer numbers. So I'm trying to clean some trays between orders, and I noticed a lady in a black jacket storming in, so I just followed my usual routine. Me is me, and EM is entitled mother. Hello, is this going to be for here or to go? I was just through your drive-thru, and I noticed I was charged $15 for my meal. I take a look at the receipt, and sure enough, she's right. Only her order had the right price on it. Mom, the price you paid is correct. You weren't overcharged. You mean to tell me that it's $15 for this meal? Yes, I'm sorry, but I can't do anything. I'd like to speak to the manager, please. Being familiar with this subreddit, I knew that arguing further would only result in a headache and a hold up in line. So I got my supervisor Ben to come speak with her. For context, he's seen his fair share of entitled people, and as he's told me, doesn't give even the slightest fraction of an F when dealing with them. So they're talking about the order. I don't know what was said since I'd gone back to washing trays. Eventually, I hear her saying something before storming out of the store. Ben later told me the conversation had gone like this. So what seems to be the problem today? Your employee wasn't very helpful, so I'm hoping you could do what he didn't. Sure, he mentioned something about $15? Yes, my order was way too expensive, and I was hoping to get my money back. Alright, if I may have the bag of food back, please. You mean I can't keep the food? We offer refunds, but take the items back so that we can mark them down as waste for inventory purposes. So no, you cannot keep your order if you want a refund. He told me that she gained a look of angry frustration. Apparently, she had fully expected the manager to be on her side and give her what she wanted. Ben was not going to do that. After a brief loop of back and forth between them, this happened. I'm sorry, Mom, but there's nothing more I can do. If you want your money back, you'll have to leave the food here. The EM, having finally realised that she wasn't going to win, just said one last thing to Ben before storming out angrily. F off! No joke, she couldn't have her way, so she felt it was appropriate to tell the manager of the store to F off. We still joke about it from time to time. How did they not realise it would cost $15, even when the drive-thru cashier must have said, that'll be $15, thanks. And just because something is a little bit more expensive than you might have thought, you can't tell the manager to F off. And the final story of today is coming from my own subreddit, Redditor YT. If you have some great stories and want me to read them out on the channel, post them there and I will. So a big thank you to Boy Better Stop for this story. Training butterfly knives are dangerous. So by the title, you might be wondering, what is a butterfly knife? It's a knife held between two handles and pivots so you can do tricks. I was walking down the street practicing on a cannot be sharpened butterfly knife when a Karen decides, I think my 6-year-old will like this. I come to a crosswalk and see a parent and her kid on the other side. I put my knife away so they don't think I'll try to hurt them, but boy was I late. She apparently somehow saw it and stopped me from continuing walking my route. Karen. What is that? Me. It's a butterfly knife. Let my kid have it. I mean, I can let him see it for a minute. Wait, how old is he? He's 6, but let him have it. No, absolutely no way in hell I'm gonna let Karen take my knife away so a spawn can have it. Plus, he probably doesn't know the basic way to not get cut. Mom, he can't have it or even hold it because he could get seriously hurt if he held it. I don't care, he can hold it. I'm not really in a position to fight because she could claim I threatened her. Back off. No, let my son have it. She literally tried to take it from my pocket where it was being held. She somehow overpowered me and grabbed grabbed it. See, it wasn't that hard to give over. You're gonna give it back. I don't think so. She literally tosses it to her kid, unlatched, and the knife goes in all kinds of crazy ways. Now, it's not like he could actually get hurt by cutting, but a good jab would cause some pain. Evil snot rag. Haha, see? I got it now. Okay, I'm done with you. Now, any of my friends know that when I say I'm about done, they know something's about to go down. I don't curse to adults unless, well, you'll see. This kid starts randomly spinning it and he pinched himself between the two handles. Ow, mummy, I got a boo-boo. Karen turns to me. What did you do to him? Okay, you know what? You stole my knife and gave it to your kid and you turned your back to him and let him get hurt. That's not my fault and you're an entitled... She gets so mad, and so does her snot rag. How did I not see this coming? This kid throws it as hard as he can on the ground, but I'm quick enough to grab it back up and run off. So there we go, another great story, but from my own subreddit this time. So if you have any stories of your own, as I've already said, post them there and I will read them in upcoming videos. Anyway, that is the end of another episode of r/EntitledParents. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, like, share and subscribe for more Reddit content from me.